I was invited to go along on the ride to the East Coast, West Coast, Route 66. I really enjoyed the commodity amongst the guys. We really didn't have any problems at all. It was just an enjoyable ride, and I'm looking forward to the next round. Wherever they're going to go, I'm in for it.
So in early April of 2017, we prepared our Victory motorcycles for the long haul inside of a cargo trailer out to a warehouse in Los Angeles, California. A few weeks later, 7 of us met up at the airport and flew out to LA to join the 3 hardcore riders, Corey, Nick, and George, who left days earlier and hauled ass over 2,500 miles to LA ahead of us. I forgot to mention my buddy George's motorcycle is so fast, his saddlebag flew off trying to keep up with Corey, thus we had to wrap up a new one and bring it with us. Wheels down, we Ubered to the warehouse and dusted off our rides and attempted to acclimate to our new climate. Okay, we're live from the warm, hot, sunny California sun.
It's freaking hot out here, man!
In front of the Bellman Group warehouse. See all the motorcycles, we're all set and ready to go. Start our adventure, made it safe. It is hot as freaking balls out here though. Woo! Balls. On our way to Santa Barbara, we hit a few well-known filming spots for the hit series Sons of Anarchy and then continued north. And now a quick moment while D-Mac fiddles with his GoPro and the rest of us scream and argue over navigation.
Did you see anybody in there?
I got this bitch
My GoPro.
15 minute delay.
Yeah.
Leaving downtown LA, we head towards Santa Barbara, where we plan to spend our first night before heading down the Pacific Coast Highway in the morning towards Santa Monica, where we start our journey on old Route 66. Checked into the hotel, we had our first biker road meal and a few beers, some good laughs before we hit the beds and called it a night. The next morning, we rode out to a once historic stagecoach stop named Cold Springs Tavern, now a biker favorite when passing up or down the coast. After a quick bite of some good eats, we headed south towards Santa Monica for our final night before heading back east towards Chicago. Stopping for a brief moment on the Pacific Coast Highway, we took a few selfies and shots of the Pacific Ocean before heading to our destination Hotel California on the coast of Santa Monica. Once checked into our hotel, we wandered out to the Santa Monica Pier to snap a photo of the Route 66 sign. After a few adjustments to the sign made by PVR member Rudy Watley, we were ready to start our Route 66 adventure. Headed north out of LA, one of our stops was Roy's Cafe in Amboy, California. This was apparently where Corey Ackley learned to take his first group selfie, which either only captured our heads or missed the top of the sign entirely. Either way, it was 100 degrees and time to get back on the bikes. Another stop was Pirates Cove, an oasis in the middle of the Mojave Desert, where we stopped for a bite of lunch and George Lindenburn added to his collection. Next up was Oakman, Arizona, where the wild burros are the descendants of burros brought here by the miners in the late 1800s. When the miners no longer needed them, they were turned loose. Each morning they come down into town looking for food. They wander the streets and greet tourists. Burro pellets and carrots are for sale at many of the shops. The burros will eat all day if you feed them. Shortly before sunset, they wander back into the hills for the night.
Here comes a huge ass across the street.
What's up, Yummy Bear? What you doing?
Yeah.
Scratching your head, aren't you?
Got no time for you.
Once again, we witnessed Corey Ackley suffer rejection from a homeless Oatman ass who just wants to be left alone. After a great day of riding, we stopped in Kingman, Arizona, where apparently I met John Wayne and Charlie had an idea.
Yeah, that was my idea.
Next up was Hackberry General Store, located in Hackberry, Arizona, directly off State Route 66, 23 miles northeast of Kingman, Arizona. Tons of history, artifacts, and rusty memories piled up all around one of the oldest general stores still operating today.
That's awesome.
Looks like you can rock it. Maybe it was a carriage or a baby crib or something.
A baby carriage, aluminum, stainless steel out in 100 degrees. That baby didn't last long. I'm thinking more like a pork roaster. I'm thinking it's a pork roaster. No, a sled? It is a sled. Wow. Huh.
Arriving at the Grand Canyon was quite amazing for those that were seeing it for the first time. We toured the South Rim, taking selfies, feeding wildlife, and snapping this picture of some random chick because Jonathan Ness insisted I take it.
It's getting hot up here, man.
It's not hot tonight. All right, so we are officially standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona, and the next mix is gonna be lady just effed up my damn video, son of a bitch. All the way in Arizona. Wait
Bitches ain't shit, but hoes
here
are
comes
tricks.
this same asshole's been following us. Here he comes.
The bitches.
So our buddy George had quite the random nosebleeds throughout the first part of our trip. So collectively, we came up with an idea that would help George with his flow and allow him to continue to ride without too much discomfort.
Very nice. Great bunch of guys. I knew who just walked this one over there. That was just waiting.
Yeah, that's what we were waiting for.
Hey, now you're really gonna get me in trouble.
Oh yeah, get you some of that bunny, D. There you go.
Freaking hot out here, man.
There you go. Mount that bitch. Yeah.
Thanks to Google, we were able to at least see this shot of the meteor crater because we arrived at 6:59 p.m. and were turned away.
We're closed. Closed.
On the way, we had a quick visit to the Wigwam Motel, which has been featured in multiple movies and was added to the National Register of Historic Places on May 2nd, 2002. And here we have photos and videos of the Petrified Forest National Park. Oh wait, no we don't, because Rob Lee couldn't find it, even though it's 221,000 acres. Maybe next time.
George, we are walking on the streets of Madrid,
Yes, we
Mexico,
are. Yes,
home of the wild hogs.
Oh, I'm not sure which one I am.
You're going to be the flat one in a minute if you don't get the hell out of the road.
Ran over, I know that.
Here comes some more hogs behind us, and one very thin, skinny red hog.
Hey, how about the tavern that they burned down? We gonna see that?
Which one?
Remember they caught the tavern on and blew the tavern up?
Del Fuego's bar.
Oh, that one? No, that wasn't here. That was filmed somewhere else.
Fortunate enough to spend the afternoon in a place where the infamous Wild Hogs was filmed, and Maggie's Diner still stands, once a movie prop, now an active gift shop. After some lunch, laughs, and loitering, we continued moving east towards Texas.
This trip meant the world to me. I had something that I had wanted to do ever since I was in my 30s, and it was every bit of fulfillment of what I thought it was going to be. It was exciting, it was invigorating, it was challenging, it was enjoyable. But I'm really glad I got to do it. And now I can say that I'm in a number of few people who have gotten to do it. And the group that I got to do it with, the PVR, is a wonderful group of guys. And I'm glad that I happened into it. And I'm glad they took care of me along the way. And it really was a blessing. Blessed my heart. Moved me into manhood, which I already had, but this just confirmed it. Thanks.
Last stop in New Mexico was the Blue Swallow Motel in Tucumcari. The motel is a 12-unit L-shaped building listed on the National Register of Historic Places in New Mexico as part of the historic U.S. Route 66. A few photos and back on the road we went. Leaving New Mexico, we saw a sign for Glen Rio, a ghost town, before the state line of Texas. Glen Rio began as a Rock Island Railroad stop. Although part of the town was located in Texas and the other part in New Mexico, the federal government considered Glen Rio to be a Texas town during those days. Mail would be dropped off on the Texas side of the border, and then the station master would carry the mail bag to the post office on the New Mexico side for delivery. A few pictures, a little bit of fun on the motorcycles, and back on the road we went.
So the trip, originally when I first started thinking of it, I was just thinking of how I wanted to do Route 66, the actual route, and see the history. But as things kind of started evolving with who all was going to go, it really turned into a lot more than I ever expected it would be. And so while doing Route 66 and to go cross country was really cool to do it by motorcycle, the people that joined us, or the people that were there with me the entire time, really made it that much more, and it kind of brought a whole new life to it. So in the end, it turned out being a lot more than I had ever anticipated it would be. So that was really cool. I had a blast. I mean, I was nervous having 10 bikes to go cross country, but honestly, it worked out, fortunately, and I think in the end it was a great time because of it, because we had such a diverse mix of people. So I loved it. It was a blast.
Stopping in Adrian, Texas at the Midway Cafe, we were roughly 1,139 miles in with 1,139 miles of Route 66 to ride. Although the cafe was not serving food that day, the gift shop was open and the locals were great listeners as we talked about our journey on Route 66. We also met a group of European riders who flew across the pond to also embark on the Great American Route 66 Road Tour. Taking individual selfies in the middle of the road, yes, once one did it, all had to do it. We took a group shot in front of the sign and waved goodbye to our brothers from other mothers and got back on the road. Next stop was the Big Texan in Amarillo, Texas. Although most of us were strictly on salmon and salad diet, we decided when in Rome, do as the Romans would. As we parked the bikes, let's take a moment and watch D-Mac attempt to take one picture 3 times and the 4th finally not upside down.
Yeah, he's alive. So, that's a rattlesnake, Texas rattlesnake. What I need you to do, just for the video, is to go back there, okay? As fast as you can.
Stick your hand here.
I just want to hear it
Pat
rattle.
him.
Just do what you got to do to make it rattle. Wow.
Your video's a good idea. People never believe it was alive.
As we finished our meal, we watched some poor SOB attempt to eat the 72-ounce steak challenge. What is the challenge? Pause and read.
Here we go. Smack it and run.
Freaking hot out here, man. No, watch me milk the cow.
All right. Yeah, so Route 66, and what does it mean to Corey? it's evolved. So I think when I first heard about the trip, I was really looking forward to it. I looked at an opportunity to ride, first of all, ride with a bunch of great guys, but also a lot of selfish stuff. I was looking at, how many states could I get, and things of that nature. And then as we started getting into execution mode, and then I got paired up with Nick and George. We're going to ride out to California and meet up with the guys. Trip took a whole new meaning. I mean, how many times you get to ride around with someone who's lived life so full as George has, and who also suffered as well. And as my dad is dealing with Alzheimer's, and I did have a chance to see him during this trip. Being with George was actually an opportunity to something become bigger than itself, bigger than me. And so it really meant a lot just to be able to share that with George and see how full of life he was and how much this meant to him. So for me, it really became less about Corey and really about seeing the pleasure that everyone with their own story had and what this trip meant to them and how it transformed them in the process. So that's Route 66 from my eyes.
Passing through Oklahoma City, we stopped at the infamous Rock Cafe, where we were introduced to the indestructible grill Betsy. For over 75 years, Betsy has seared more than 5 million burgers, chicken fried steaks, and so much more. Betsy survived the devastating Rock Cafe fire of 2008 that left her and 4 rock walls remaining. Exploring small towns off Route 66 in Oklahoma, we discovered roadside attractions such as the Big Blue Whale and Noah's Ark. Although most of us wanted to ride, Corey Ackley insisted we stop and visit, which led to entertaining video clips like this. So we're around this structure. D-Mac said it's the first known ever Wheel of Death. It's made out of concrete.
Wall of Death.
Wall of Death. It's too heavy to move. We want the guys to think that we're filming something awesome over here and make them all walk over here for nothing. They coming?
Well, not yet.
Oh, yeah, that is so cool. Look at those weeds. Wow, it's amazing how they enclose them in here. These are endangered weeds. Oklahoma endangered weeds. Yep. Yeah, here comes George. You hear that? Yeah, we got one. We got one coming. Oh, this is incredible, guys.
You will not believe it.
This is amazing.
What's that, a giant swimming pool?
Wow.
I think this was worth the trip.
This is a fully enclosed concrete ring of weeds.
That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah.
What do you think, George?
The original Wall of Death.
Where's the alligator? Hurry, you gotta come see this, Corey.
Okay.
I'm surprised they didn't have signs out front for this, man.
See this? You are gonna hate yourself tomorrow.
All right. Is this
Awesome.
a cage?
It's weeds. For free, you can look at them all day.
This is like someone went to the junkyard and just grammed random shit and made a park out of it. So here we have, I don't know.
Oh, it's hard. But those are penis parts.
Those are Oklahoma's ground penises.
Right. With big rods, tubes. Anytime you have a cylinder with a tube in the middle of it, nothing good comes out of it.
Depends who you are, right?
I don't know, that's how we got here. Oh yeah, look.
Right, nothing good comes out of it.
Yep. Wonder why I sleep in the bathtub when I run with him.
All right, so let me see. The trip we just took from LA all the way back now. We're almost to Maryland. Got another day, get there tomorrow. Had a great time. Appreciate everything, all the hard work that was put into making this trip possible. Went through a lot of heat, a little bit of rain, had to wait out a tornado, but it was a good time. And for anybody out there wanting to do this, the Route 66 ride, I highly recommend it. It is a great ride, a great time, and even better when you got great people around you. So thanks to everybody who put this trip together, and thanks to everybody who was on the trip and made it such a good time. I appreciate it.
We stopped 2.5 miles south of Baxter Springs along Route 66 at the historic Rainbow Bridge for a chance to stretch our legs, and D-Mac wanted to share the following story.
They got an old truck that's hauling an Indian. Yeah. An old Indian.
Really? Is that illegal?
Like an old Indian chief,
Well, no,
or
no,
like
I mean,
an actual
they're not
motorcycle?
dragging the Indian.
Right.
They got it in the truck.
I think it. Hey,
In a rocker?
that's human trafficking. You're not allowed to do that.
All right, an old motorcycle that happens to be an Indian
An
brand.
Indian motorcycle.
Right.
I'm like, this just...
Back on the highway, we traveled the Mother Road a few miles more and stopped to tour the amazing small town of Galena, Kansas. Here we stumbled around peering through windows and taking photos from the street, as it was later in the evening and everything was closed and no one was home. After convincing D-Mac that the Bordello was now an antique store, he stopped trying to break in and started crying, which was a whole other level of embarrassment. Seriously though, once we finished walking around, we let Corey out of the street corner prison and headed east.
This trip was probably one of the best trips of my life. It gave me a chance to do something I'd never done, didn't think I could do. And that was to ride all the way across the country. Got to see things I hadn't seen in years, new things. And overall, it was just great fellowship to hang out with 10 guys and just spend some time with people just who had a singular interest, and that was enjoying riding.
We stopped for the night in Joplin, Missouri, where we had a beer and some laughs and were almost abducted by a crazy Uber driver. That story stays in Joplin. At breakfast, D-Mac proceeded to tell me that while in the shower, he was thinking about Rudy.
You take the aftermath of that comment, okay? The comment's not on here.
That was awesome. Oh my God.
So tell us again.
Yeah. So when you're in the shower, you were thinking about what?
I was thinking, man, their shower heads are low.
Headed northeast, we passed and stopped to grab a few pics from the privately owned Route 66 Drive-In Theater. 66 Drive-In is a historic drive-in theater, National Historic District located on U.S. Route 66 in Carthage, Jasper County, Missouri. The theater opened on September 22nd, 1949.
This was like a trip of a lifetime kind of thing. How I'll surpass it, I don't know, but I'm going to try. You know, I really dug, you know, just long distance riding. It's just so much fun. The fact that I did it with such fantastic guys was, you know, just a bonus for me. You know, I learned a whole lot about myself. I learned a lot about the guys that I was with. I learned about riding. You know, I recommend this to anybody. If you really love riding, take a tour, you know, across the country. There's so much stuff out there to see that, you know, I'm already planning to take my kids to see some of this stuff already, because, you know, they have to see it for themselves to gain that appreciation that you see. You see it in books, you see it on TV. It's not the same thing. Grand Canyon was like mind-blowing. You know, that's just one example. You know, I've seen pictures, videos. You stand there and you see this grandness. It was amazing. So, and just, you know, Jonathan, Frank, you guys are the bomb. You know, I really appreciate what you guys did for this trip. It was awesome. You organized it. You planned it correctly. Just, you know, it was a great thing, and put it in your resume. You know, because yeah.
Continuing on the trek, another awesome stop was at Lambert's, home of the Throwed Rolls in Ozark, Missouri. We pinned the map and stared down the menu while dodging rolls, trying to figure out what to order as everything looked and smelled amazing. Uranus is a pit stop like no other. Exploring Uranus is an experience the whole family will enjoy, with attractions to entertain family members of all ages with a sense of humor, fun, and adventure. As for a group of 10 bikers, it was a paradise when it came to the one-liners constantly thrown around during our visit in Uranus. This wonderful stop led to one of the funniest clips captured on the trip. Even as the narrator, I am enjoying telling you about Uranus.
What?
Give us a
It's freaking hot out here, man.
give us a quick review of Uranus.
Oh man, I've never been in Uranus like that.
Oh, it was hot there, wasn't it?
Oh, let me tell you, they had a fudge factory there too.
Yeah. Did you talk to that one fudge packer?
Yeah.
I did too. He
She
was
said
busy.
they needed fudge packers.
He was busy. He was packing the hell out of some fudge.
Yeah, man.
How about you,
I'll tell
Corey?
what.
Did you have a good time in Uranus?
You know, I always do. But I tell you, every time I'm in there, it's always a new experience.
It is.
It's like the first time I've been in Uranus.
Yeah,
Right?
there was-
Even though I've been there many, many times,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
felt like it was the first time I was actually in Uranus.
Once I got inside, there was so much to look at. It just took forever to get around and get
I
out.
can't believe how much stuff there was in Uranus.
Yeah. You can buy almost anything in Uranus.
It was a
Guns?
smorgasbord.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. You could even get a tattoo in Uranus. Did you know that?
That is true.
Wow.
They had dancing girls in Uranus too, which is really
which is almost surprising because it doesn't look from the outside like it's big enough to hold dancing girls.
I gotta
But
ask
once you get inside there,
Which is
your
big.
Uranus is huge.
It's a lot bigger than people think.
How did they get that fire truck in Uranus?
I don't know.
wanna
I don't know. And what, did you see the big rocket ship? It was called Astro.
Oh, hell yeah, that was big, man. You need something like that for Uranus.
The next morning, D-Mac still had some gas issues from his visit to Uranus, even at 60 miles per hour. We continued on our Route 66 journey, stopping at the Red Rocker, the world's largest rocking chair, for a group pic, then back on the road again to stop for a photo at the historic Wagon Wheel Motel, where one PVR member had a little senior moment.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Once rested, we hopped on the bikes and headed north to Chicago.
It was freaking hot out there, man. No, it was great, man. It was probably the best experience I've ever had in my whole life. And being with a bunch of guys who are just a bunch of cut-ups and cards and out there on the road doing what guys do. It was just an amazing time. Beautiful scenery. Southwest was a wonderful place to go through. It's been years since I've been out that way. So I'd recommend the trip 66 for anybody.
Just outside of St. Louis, Missouri, Charlie had a bit of trouble with his clutch. Fortunately, the entire club decided to pitch in and assist the club mechanic with the roadside repair.
And it looks like Charlie's clutch is having some issues. Now Corey's getting in there now with a pair of, I think those are channel? Yep, those are channel locks. Jonathan's being of no help whatsoever. He's pissing him off severely.
Hey, fucker. I held the plastic.
George has severely extended his ass out for everyone to see.
It's called
Let's get back to
presenting.
the action, folks.
Cruising into Springfield, Illinois, we stopped at the Cozy Dog Drive-In. This Route 66 legend, the reputed birthplace of the corn dog, has memorabilia and souvenirs in addition to the deeply fried main course on a stick. After lunch, we stopped at AutoZone so Corey, Nick, and George could change oil since they rode out and back to the East Coast.
It was a great trip. Started 18 months ago with the planning, getting excited. It didn't feel real until we got on the airplane, flew out there, and very emotional kind of thing, but very fulfilling. And I want to thank you guys for setting it up. Excuse me. And I look forward to many more trips coming up. Thank you.
The last stop before reaching downtown Chicago and the end of our Route 66 journey was the Launching Pad Restaurant, home to the Gemini Giant in Wilmington, Illinois. The restaurant was closed and for sale when we stopped in 2017. However, I am happy to say that now in 2021, the Launching Pad is open and was the 2020 Traveler's Choice winner. Our final night in Illinois was spent enjoying some Chicago-style deep dish pizza in a small town called Minooka. As always, we enjoyed the camaraderie and fellowship with some joking around while filling our bellies.
Your hand was? That wasn't two pillows.
Hey, I thought Fat Boy had to eat.
I did.
Yeah, we're good. It's all good.
I wasn't hungry when I ate that one. Yeah, really.
It's this final night on the Route 66 trail that I wanted to share the special patches I had made for the guys to commemorate the accomplishment of traveling the total miles from West Coast to East Coast, 3,339.9 miles, over 6,000 miles for Corey, George, and Nick. And special thanks to Rob Lee for tracking our travels from start to finish.
All the guys have given their 1 minute or more spiel on summarizing this trip. I'm going to do the same. I want to do it now while it's all fresh in my mind. You know, from the beginning to getting together and planning where we're going to stop, where we're going to ride, how often we're going to ride, how many miles, and we're going to go look at this roadside attraction. I know some of the guys are laughing because we went to some crazy roadside attractions, and I really appreciate you getting off your bike and pretending to be excited. Maybe that was the 5-year-old kid in me
screaming out. I don't know, but it was a great time. Altogether, we couldn't have asked for better weather. I couldn't have asked for better people to ride with. You know, it was an emotional trip. You know, I learned a lot about my friends, and I learned a lot about myself. I think the biggest thing for me is all the planning, all of the time, energy, and effort it took to make sure that this trip was about the destination, Route 66. I'm going to steal this from a conversation I had with Corey last night. But it wasn't about the destination. It was totally about the journey. And what a journey this was. To go all these miles with these guys. It feels like we've accomplished something magnificent, something phenomenal. We got to see America up close and personal. We had to reach out and touch it. Unfortunately, we got to smell portions of it. Thanks, Corey. If I had to go back and plan things a little differently, I may. But in the end, I wouldn't change a thing.
Oh, I was invited to go along on the ride to the East Coast, West Coast, Route 66. I really enjoyed the commodity amongst the guys. We really didn't have any problems at all. It was just an enjoyable ride, and well, I'm looking forward to the next round. Wherever they're going to go, I'm in for it.
Actually was the original Route 66 pier. That was called Pier 66. It was gonna be 69, but they didn't want to get the lawsuits. Oh, yeah. Yeah, or 34 and a half.
Up in the penthouse.
How about the big blue whale?
Watch it, there's a lot of used condoms up there, be careful.
Don't drink them.
They fell out of his pocket.
I'm just saying, for the record, got a shit. Matter of fact, you want me to do it right here?
There's
Not a stand still, huh?
It's not a connection problem. It's not a connection problem. It's a fucker problem.
Oh, yeah. This guy don't know what he's doing.
No, he's a cocksucker.
Ooh, maybe that's the place we want to go.